Welcome to Legal and Wealthy, the podcast for lawyers who are ready to stop playing small and start building true wealth and a career and life of their dreams, powerfully and purposefully. Whether you're a law student, new associate, or seasoned attorney, this show is for those who are ready to take charge of their law career in a new way. I'm your host, Lauren Klein, attorney, law firm owner, professor, and founder of Legal and Wealthy. Here, we don't just practice law, we practice liberation and becoming wealthy attorneys. Because being a great lawyer shouldn't come at the cost of your time, your peace, or your financial freedom. Every week, you'll get the strategy, mindset, and wealth building guidance that law school never gave you. So you can go from just surviving your career to building a legacy through it. Let's get to work. Welcome to Legal and Wealthy. Today's conversation has been a long time coming, and I am so thrilled to share it with you. I'm sitting down with my good friend, attorney Jennifer Netska. Jennifer is a New York native who built her foundation in insurance defense before making a bold leap, swapping sides to fight for injured clients in all aspects of personal injury law. Her career has taken her from the grind to big law, where she worked alongside some of Florida's top trial attorneys, to launching her own firm, an all-female powerhouse serving clients across both Florida and New York. In this episode, Jennifer opens up about the reality of burnout in big law, the night she knew it wasn't the right fit for her anymore, and the courage it took to walk away and start fresh in a brand new state. You'll hear how she grew her firm from a one-woman leap of faith into a thriving practice with a team of 5. Hiring early, even on a budget, became her growth engine, and how collaboration over competition has fueled her success. If you're a law student, associate, or firm owner looking for a roadmap to the leave behind sort of successful and step into true wealth, confidence, and freedom, you'll want to hear Jennifer's story. Let's dive in. So excited to just dive into more about your journey and how you got to the incredible place that you are today with the firm that you've built. Mm-hmm. And I'd love to just kind of kick it off from, how did you get started in law? What has your journey been like? And how did you end up as the owner of an incredibly successful PI law firm, all female? Right?
Yep. All female. Thank you so much. I am one of those. I was one of those students that really actually did have a burning passion for a specific area of law. I knew that I wanted to go to law school. I was always a bookworm, and then law school ended and everyone kind of had their direction. And I was back and forth on what I wanted to do. I didn't have a burning passion for criminal, for family. I didn't really know. So I went on the job hunt, and I was one of those people that just was looking for the highest paid position. Mm-hmm. And that led me to doing insurance defense work. And so I took the highest paying job I can find, which was working for a private defense firm, where the insurance company pays these private defense firms to handle insurance claims. And I was placed in the unit where we did personal injury defense work. And so that's where I started my career. I started that in New York. I was working for a mid-sized firm. And that's really where I started. I invested just shy of a decade doing that. And I learned the tips, the tricks, and I worked my ass off, for lack of better words, really. And that's where I got my background. And when I relocated to Florida was really when I started to think differently and start to change gears about what it is that made me happy and where I saw my future. But that's where I got started.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what brought you down to Florida?
So I was living in New York, and I was the student that didn't go away to college. I didn't go away to law school. I was single. I didn't have a whole lot going on. I did nothing but work. Then COVID happens. I had bought a house just a few minutes away from mommy. And despite all of the achievements that I had in my career, I still just didn't feel fulfilled. And then COVID happened, and the firm that I was with had an office in Florida. And again, like I mentioned, I was a bookworm. And so I took the bar not knowing that I really even wanted to move to Florida, I was like, maybe there's a part of me in the future that may want to. Let me just take it, put it in my back pocket, passed. And then when the firm was slow up in New York during COVID, and I was bored out of my mind during COVID, they said, do you want to take a transfer down to Florida? So I did. And I did that in 2020, end of 2020 and during 2021 was when I made that move. Yeah. And that was it. I never looked back. That was the best thing I've ever done. And it was probably the biggest leap of faith I've ever taken. It's definitely the biggest leap of faith I've taken in addition to opening up my own firm, just leaving everything behind. I had no family, no friends, nothing down here. I knew nobody. But I took that job. That was where I got started. I learned the Florida law from what I was doing up in New York. And then I took the leap of faith once I got down here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And I know you said in a recent Instagram post that big law does not always equal big fulfillment, which I can certainly attest to.
Yeah.
So what was the moment where you kind of said to yourself, this isn't the right fit for me?
I remember the day that I knew it wasn't the right fit for me. Well, first of all, there was a lot of burnout that was coming with it. So I was a little fish in a huge pond, and I was on that hamster wheel, and there's just no end in sight. And so I think a lot of lawyers and law students, actually, we have a similar personality type. You're an A type, you're an overachiever, you're a hard worker. I mean, we all have these similar traits. And so I never really knew when to turn it off, but the work was never complete. So every day the workload was piling up to the ceiling and you're chipping away at it. And I never really got anything done because there was no end in sight. They overloaded me with work. I was working insane amount of hours per week, ungodly amounts of hours per week. And
how many on average would you say?
So it's a standard 40-hour work week. I was required to bill for somewhere around 40. I probably was putting in regularly somewhere between 50, 60 hours a week, but I've seen as high as 70, 80-hour work weeks. But I would say like a regular work week was a solid 50.
Wow.
A solid 50 hours every week was a regular thing. And then you had your brutal weeks where you were cranking out 60, 70, I've seen 80-hour weeks. But every week I was putting in 50 hours a week.
Yeah.
And the fulfillment wasn't there. And I think the turning point for me, to answer the question, really was the bosses, or the partners, I should say, that I was working for. I wouldn't say all of them, so I don't want to lump them all together in the unhappy box. But there was several partners that I did work for, and they expressed unhappiness. And they came off kind of miserable to me too. And so knowing that that was how they were feeling about their careers, and they were 10 plus years ahead of me in their career, I kind of knew. And the writing for me was on the wall. And it was, despite them making partner, it was just never enough. And they were working an insane amount of hours, and they just didn't seem happy in general. And when one junior level type partner said to me, you're either built for this or you're not built for this. And somewhere along, he mentioned something along the lines of, this is your new home now. Home isn't home. Home is here. That was the turning point for me, that I went home that night and I just tossed and turned over, some of the things that was said, and just the culture. And I knew something had to change for me.
Yeah. And the amount of times I think that we've all had conversations with other lawyers who have been in that same boat. Like, I don't know where everyone got together and agreed that this was the lifestyle that you had to have or have to have to be
I think
successful.
it goes back so far. I know. It's just like the standard culture. I started there, and it was like, I'm telling you, like, from the day one, it was like, make sure you arrive before the partners. Don't ever dare to leave. Dare to leave before the partners. So it was like me and the associates are like tiptoeing around the office, and I kid you not, like we would be texting, and one associate would be on one wing, I'd be on the other, and they'd be like, "Is your wing clear? Like, is that hallway clear? Like, I got to get out of here. It's 6:30. It's 7:00." And we'd be texting about, go use the emergency exit, go down the staircase, don't use the elevators. There's a bunch of attorneys hanging around by the elevators, and it was like, how many years do I have to put in for me to be able to leave at 5, 6 o'clock? You know, why are we still sneaking down the back staircase? I agree. I don't know where it became the norm. It's unfortunate, but I just knew that I had to make a leap, and the sooner you do it, the better, I say.
Wow. So once you had that kind of epiphany and that night where you're tossing and turning, what did you do from there?
Well, I had the support of my now husband, who is a very big cheerleader of me all the way. So shout out to him, props to him. But he, the whole time was like, you're a social butterfly. So am I. We know a lot of people. So let's start backing into the numbers here. You know, you have your little nest egg and you don't need a whole lot. So there's a lot of topic and talk about how much you need to get started. But I was lucky enough, I will say, I won't hide that, but I was lucky enough to have a little bit of a nest egg and a pool and then a crutch, my fiance at the time, to fall back on.
Yeah.
And he was my cheerleader. Now would be the time to do it. Let's back into the numbers. How many clients, you know, how many cases would you need to resolve to just get by? Like the goal year one was not to make $1 million, $2 million, $5 million. It was just to, let's just get by. Let's just get up and running.
Especially when you look at the salary you're earning versus what you're bringing into a firm.
Exactly. And so we started backing into the numbers, and that was the turning point. Was we started crunching some numbers, and it was like, how many cases would we need to bring in for us to just get by?
Yeah.
And it wasn't a lot. When you really start to crunch numbers, it wasn't a lot of clients that we needed to get in a calendar year to get by.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I far surpassed that. And that was it. I hit the ground running.
I have a question that is coming up a lot in the clients that I'm coaching when they're leaving a firm.
Okay.
How do you do it? And I think back to how I did it, and I don't know that I did it in the best way. I kind of, I'll be really honest, I kind of blamed it on motherhood, which was not, I had other goals and other dreams, but it's like, how do you say that in a way where you don't burn bridges? So I'm just curious if you have any advice on how to present it when you're leaving and you're starting your own firm to the firm that you're leaving.
So I think it's twofold on how I did it. I think I did it. I look back and I definitely stand my ground that I did it gracefully, for sure.
Yeah.
But also, you don't need to explain.
Yeah.
I mean, at the time, you know, it's intimidating. You're talking to the big bad partner who's been there for 30 years, that's in trials every week. Like, it's very intimidating to go in and be like, hey, I'm opening up my own shop.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. He's going to look at you like, what are you, nuts? So the way that I look at it is, one, you really don't need to tell them.
Yeah.
And I was in such a big firm as well that, I mean, yeah, one of my partners, the partners that I reported to, I do think that he generally did care about me, and we did have a nice relationship. But at the end of the day, I was with a massive firm. You're a number, and when you're gone on Monday, by Friday they have interviews scheduled. So it was like, you don't need to necessarily like delve into it with them when putting in your notice and closing the chapter. So I think that I delivered the message a little vague, and I think that was what was right for me. I didn't need to show them my business plan and how I was going to get clients. I think my delivery was more so, I want to make a change. This isn't in line with my values, my passion, and I hope that you understand that. But I think that I want to take my career in a different direction. And I don't have all the answers right now, but I am respectfully going to put in my notice. You know, and some of these partners may look at you like you're a wackadoo, or you just don't have it figured out, or you have a lot to learn, and that's fine. I do think that, you know, they looked at me kind of weird, like, what is she actually doing? But that's fine.
Yeah. It's really none of their business. You're right. It really
it's
isn't.
really not.
The way you said it was so eloquent.
That was how I delivered the message. And, you know, they had some follow-up, and then they tried to like save me from resigning. And I remember they said, you know, can we take you to lunch? And I think we did lunch later that week. And so, you know, when you're sitting across the lunch table, they're obviously going to delve in deeper, and they did. And I just said, you know, I'm a bit of a social butterfly, and I feel like a small fish I feel like a little fish in a huge pond. And I just think, and I still tried to keep it as vague but gentle as I could.
Yeah.
And I think they knew that I was going to do my own thing. And I remember at the end of the lunch, they showed support. We support you in all that you do. And if you leave off with a gentle tone like that and respectfully, I remember, and that was also what gave me the confidence, was he said, if you ever want your job back, you know it's here, Jen. And I was like, that's it. He just gave me his blessing. And then once you're gone, the chapter's closed, the weight of the world is off your shoulders. Now you hit the ground running, you do your own thing. In fact, several months later, my former boss, partner that I reported to, reached out to me with a lead.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And said, give this one a call. I see what you're doing. He had me on LinkedIn. And he said this, I have a potential client for you. It didn't work out, but I look back and I was like, wow, that's support. And so that's a mentor, that they looked out for me and they wanted to send me business while I was just getting myself together. And so that really showed me that, and that was what gave me the confidence, was when I laid my head down for bed at night. I was like, if this ship goes down, I could go back to a job. I'm not going to be unemployed.
Right.
That's it.
And I think that's what so many people don't realize. Like,
pick another firm.
You can pivot so many times in your career. It's not like you go down one path and then you're stuck on that path.
Right.
And I think in the law, especially, we tend to think that.
Right.
It doesn't even make sense because you still have the connections, the skill sets, especially if you leave graciously and professionally.
Right.
Or you can go to another firm.
And that was like, if you keep that in mind, like, I know who I am. I know what I'm good at. I leave on good terms. I'm always respectful. The job is waiting. If I really and it's a very busy type of area of practice. So it's not like the work was always going to be there in insurance, defense work, personal injury, defense work. So I am comfortable knowing that, like, if the ship ever went down in the beginning, I could always return. And even if they didn't want to welcome me back, there's a lot of, I'd have an interview scheduled for the following week. And that's what you tell yourself is update that resume, get back on Indeed, get back on LinkedIn. But if you ingrain it in your mind that you're not going to fail, I knew I was never going back. Yeah. But if you just know that you're not going to fall.
Yeah. But it helps you to not feel as freaked out, I think.
Right. Yeah. Right. My family would joke. My fiance would joke, Jen, you think we're going to be homeless? You think we're going to like really get kicked? If the ship went up in flames, you can go get a job, but that's not going to happen.
And it didn't happen.
It did not happen.
It didn't happen. So flash forward now to 2025. You have a team of 5. You have an incredible business that you've built. Obviously, we can't go into all the in-depths of that, but I would say my biggest question, because I'm still building a law firm, how did you grow and how did you scale, hire? I know that you talk about that a lot on social media.
It's
because
a huge topic.
You have to.
I started on my own, and right out of the gate, I hired an assistant to offload.
Like day one, or
I would say it was like month one.
Yeah.
Month one. And it doesn't need to be expensive.
Yeah.
So people get really intimidated by that, but there's ways to do it. And I hired probably month one, just an administrative assistant. And I kind of just gave everything that wasn't true legal work or not the highest ROI of time. And it's definitely still a work in progress for me. I'm by no means have it all figured out. But I do think hiring, delegating, and offloading is going to be the best ROI, because if it's your firm, no one's going to care about signing in new clients and bringing in new revenue more than you. Right. So I have been drilling it into my own mind, and I listen to other mentors and podcasts and things of that sort, and it's still a work in progress for me as well. But every day I ask myself, what am I doing with my time that I really shouldn't be doing? And is there somebody else that can do this? Yeah. And every month I'm kind of doing like a reflection back. Who do I need to hire? And I've just tried to hire key players in my area of practice. Yeah. As recent as this week, I had someone that started Monday. And this one, it was like one of the biggest hires I've had so far.
Is this an attorney or?
No. So this is a supervisory role. I have not had any type of supervisory role positions yet. So this one for me was a big strategic hire I'm super proud of. And I have my fingers and toes crossed that this is going to work out really great, but I'm excited. But it really is about hiring. You cannot do it all, but it doesn't need to be expensive. And I think that was where my biggest struggle point was. Like, I don't know how many times people have to scream at me, how many podcasts I have to listen to, and how many business coaches I have to talk to. And you can afford it. That was really my biggest stressor. It was like, I got to keep overhead low, overhead. But there is inexpensive ways to do it.
Yeah. And so what did you do? I mean, this is an in-person hire, it sounds like, but what did you do in the beginning? Was it VAs?
VAs offshore.
Yeah.
VAs offshore, the whole team.
Yeah.
Literally the whole team. So it was myself, an administrative assistant. I hired a case manager / paralegal just to kind of get organized in my area of practice, which involves a lot of requests and letters and follow-up. But yeah, I hired, and I like to joke around, like I call it an army of VAs. Hire the army of VAs. That's the best way to get started. Yeah. And then when you have the funds, if you feel like it makes sense to have people stateside, then make those investments, because those are going to be your long-term keepers, I call them. Yeah. Those are the key players. So every strategy I think is going to be different, but for the staff, my whole staff's overseas. But then I have the key players, the supervisory roles, the department heads. Those are all stateside. Mm-hmm. And so that is what has worked for me. But my motto in the beginning was just hire the army, hire the overseas army. Yeah. Whether I have reception, they're tri-bilingual, however you call it, triple. They speak 3-4 languages. Yeah. Then I have the administrative assistant that's doing mail and calendaring. Then I have the litigation paralegal. I had the case manager. And then I said, okay, I need to organize these departments, because now where the issue starts to come up is all of the questions, all of the oversight flows back on me. Yeah. And now I'm just the everyday manager of every department. So it's like every day I'm inundated with, now what do I do? Yeah. And so that was when I said, okay, now some strategic hires need to happen. Yeah. And so the army, the overseas army, I like to call them,
I love it,
now reports to their department chair. Mm-hmm. And so we don't have all those chairs filled. Yeah. But that's how I've started to build out the framework.
This episode of Legal and Wealthy is brought to you by Law Firm Sites. Law Firm Sites has been building custom websites and providing online marketing for law firms for over 23 years. They are good at what they do because that's all that they do. If you are looking to expand the reach of your firm or just improve your online presence, Law Firm Sites has the team to do it. Go to lawfirmsites.com or call 1-800-932-8242 and mention Legal and Wealthy to receive 10% off any of their website or marketing packages.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How did you learn to do all of these things? And how did you get the confidence to do all of these things? How did you cultivate that from that first? I mean, obviously you're cultivating confidence in your prior role, but in this new role.
Situations like this, I mean, the listeners, it's the same thing. So I hope that I encourage others out there that may be listening and thinking about the same thing. But there was a couple of people that I had my eyes on social media, on podcasts. And I'm like, damn, that's so inspiring. Mm-hmm. Like, I want to be that's what I want. That's the vision I see too, for my own business. I don't want to be a copycat. I'm not a copycat. Yeah. But I want to build out the same way. I want those freedoms. And so I listened to a lot of that, and that was the confidence and the motivation. And that I think was super helpful for me in the beginning and now, and definitely now as well.
Yeah, because you're up leveling, and at every that's what
So
people
now
don't
I'm thinking about new
realize.
things. But I don't have it all figured out. I don't have it all figured out.
No one does.
No,
it doesn't matter even if you're talking to like the biggest CEOs. No one.
nope. So now I'm at my, now I'm at just, that was chapter 1 and chapter 2. And maybe I'm in chapter 3, and so I'm finding the motivation and the support for my chapter 3. Let's call it.
Yeah.
And so that gives me the excitement, the motivation, and the confidence, because I'm like, if they can do it, and that's the life that they're building, I want to get there too. I want to ride in that lane too.
Yeah.
So I listen and I try to implement, the things that other professionals, friends, colleagues, coaches, podcasts were saying. And it may take me much longer because maybe and I will admit that too. I'm definitely my own family, my bookkeeper, my coach, everybody that I talk to says the same thing. I'm definitely more on the conservative, nervous Nelly side, where I'm like, I don't know, can we afford to do this? Can we afford to do that? They're like, yes, spread the wings, make the hire, do all that. So, having the mentors in place, listening to podcasts, talking to others, really, I think is number one. Yeah. They don't teach you that in law school. I'll say that too. They don't teach you that in law school, and teach you that in grad school, wherever you may be. Mm-mm. It's to me, that's wild, because some of the most successful entrepreneurs, whether it's in law or not in law, but in my area, which is law, some of the most successful law firm owners, we say the same thing. They didn't teach us that. Yeah. We're learning from each other. I learn from the brainstorm sessions, from the networking groups I'm a part of, from the coffee meetups.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm building my whole business that way. Yeah. So, listening to the podcast, having the coffee meetings, talking to friends, colleagues, getting those one-on-one meetings. I try to absorb as much as I can, because we're honestly teaching each other. Because they're not teaching it to you in law school. What they really teach you in law school, it's really just to learn the law, and then they dump you off. And that was kind of how I was when I graduated law school. I was looking for the job that paid the most, and I just landed working for the insurance companies. That was all I knew.
I do think that there needs to be courses in law school, not even how to start a law firm, because you need these skills even if you're working for another firm. That's what a lot of people I think don't realize. Yes, you need them, I think, more when you're building a firm, but you need it at every level. You need to know how to build a book of business, network, delegate.
They didn't teach me. I don't know about other law schools, but that was never a topic.
Yeah. And I think it's almost, yes, we need to understand how to practice.
Yeah.
But that's just a piece of
and it's
a
something
pie.
that you said too. You said something about, you just mentioned the confidence to get out there. Yeah. Like you said, they don't teach you that. So it's like, how do you get out there? How do you get clients? Yeah. How? And so like social media is such a great thing as well. That for me is definitely in the beginning, new, uncharted waters, feeling like a fool, like cringeworthy. I have the funniest thing, if you want to laugh. My now husband, I would try to record when like our apartment was empty, and I would set it up all cute, and I had like the tripod, and it was like mid-recording, my husband walks in, and I was so it was just the most cringiest moment. I was like, get out! And but you got to get over the awkward. We like blasted through that, and now it's just.
And it works. I mean, it doesn't matter what area of law you're in, you will get clients. When I went from like the big law where I never was on social media with what I was doing at work. Never, ever, ever.
And if you were, wouldn't be.
Yeah. And I was like, are people going to take this seriously? And then I started getting clients. It was like, oh, because this is how people get their information now.
Right.
Even high level
and I wouldn't even say, and I think it's like some areas it's like you get clients and conversions, and obviously that's the goal. But then there's also the name and brand awareness. So it's like, don't get discouraged when you're not getting clients. Because I wouldn't even say like, I'm not getting these like case signups every week, and clients aren't rolling in the door through my social media.
Us either. It's like a drop here and there.
A drop here and there. It's honestly, it's like and I realize that it's name and brand recognition. Mm-hmm. That's really what it's more of. I'll get more inquiries like, hey, a friend of a friend was involved in an accident. Hey, are you still doing personal injury? Hey, do you still practice and take accident cases in New York and Florida? Mm-hmm.
It's that top of mind. I mean, I know that phrase is
exactly.
like
It's
so
top of
overused, but it's when someone needs something and they think of you.
Right. Right. Or even I get a lot of referrals for other areas of practice because yes, we try to make what I do crystal clear. That's always, you always want to be crystal clear about what it is that you do, which is for me, personal injury. But sometimes that goes above people's heads and they just know Jenna's the attorney. And so I'll get clients off social media. Hey, do you do this? Hey, do you do property? Hey, do you do trust and estate? And so just being a source for my own following. Yeah. And then you farm that out, which deepens and furthers connections with my colleagues because I have business to send and we remain top of mind for each other. For me, speaks volumes. So that also works. So while clients may not be flying through the door, it's brand and it's name recognition.
Yeah. I just thought of something. I was thinking back to how in law school, because of our, the way they grade, we're kind of pitted against each other. And, I think a lot of people get over that hurdle.
That's true.
But it's interesting because when you go into the world, you really have to get over that because that is how you grow and that is how you build, is building those connections. So it's like they 100%. Set the stage in one way and you almost have to flip the script and like look at it totally differently.
100%. If you are competing, you're going to lose. Yeah. It's not competition. It's collaboration. Yeah. So agreed. In fact, I mean, some of my closest friends are also personal injury attorneys. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I am rooting for you. Yeah. Truly
There's more than enough to go around.
I am truly rooting for you. We collaborate. Yeah. We share information. We strategize on cases. I'm rooting for you. I hope you make millions. And I hope that you hope I do too. Yeah. And they're some of my closest friends. So absolutely agree. You kind of get pitted against each other in law school. You're all competing for the same numbers, the same spots, the same scholarships, the entry-level job opportunities, all the things. But find your circle and keep them close. I actually did do that myself in law school. I have 2 girlfriends from law school. One of them got me my first job, that job I mentioned. She was the one that got me that first interview. Wow. We were friends throughout law school, and we remain close friends to this day. And she roots me on. We're each other's cheerleaders. Yeah. So I always emphasize that. Make friends. Find a circle and keep them close. Yeah. Because if you don't swim together to keep each other up, you're going to blunder out there by yourself. You absolutely should have a circle and don't look at it as competition.
I agree wholeheartedly. So for anyone who's listening, if you're in law school and you feel like it's a competition, just know that these are your future referral partners. They don't all have to be future friends. Yeah. They can be. Yep. But future referral partners, future colleagues. So play nice in the sandbox and build relationships. Yep. Build relationships because you never know where it's going to come back.
And I mean, I don't know. Maybe my view on it is different too. Like I did not have the top grades in law school. I really didn't. But looking back, it's really about your circle, your network, your connections. Like those grades, like yes, you have to pass the bar, but it's like, again, if you're striving for A's, go get those A's. But, the A in property law or the A in constitutional law, like, okay, and?
Yeah. When's the last time you ever thought about your grade? I can't even remember
what my grades were. I can't even tell you what the grades were. It really foster your circle. You're playing it. You're in a ultra saturated, law school with other smart, brainiacs around you and people that have connections, families that own firms, moms and dads of those law students that are judges. Yeah. Find your friends, find your network, find your circle, save their numbers, stay in touch. Yeah. Because if all you're worried about is, the chapter grade, no one's asking those questions now. Now I fast forward all these years later, no one asks. No one actually cares.
No one cares. No one thinks about it.
No one cares.
It's irrelevant. It's maybe relevant for that first job. Maybe.
I agree.
Maybe. And that's
absolutely.
A maybe.
Yeah.
Yep.
May be relevant for that first, year or two out. Yeah. But even still, it's like, I look back, no one asked me what my grades were. In fact, now I'm down here in Florida. I went to a law school in New York, and it was like a small law school up in New York, and no one even knows what that school is down here. So when I talk to other lawyers, they're like, wait, where'd you go? And I'm like, I don't even care. What do you give a damn?
Exactly.
Yeah, I got the degree. I passed the bar. That's it. Let's talk business now.
Exactly.
Let's talk success. Let's talk motivation. No one cares about my grades.
Exactly. So I want to kind of end on a note talking about money because this is the Legal and Wealthy podcast. I'd
Okay.
love to know, going from a big law firm to starting your own law firm and then growing your own law firm, what has been kind of the biggest money mindset or wealth building struggle that you've had along the way? And how did you kind of work through it or overcome it?
Okay. So I think, I don't want to use the word small. Small mind is not the best word, but seeing what opportunity, like just really, it's very eye-opening for me when you find that grit, find that hustle, find that motivation, and see, I started to see what some of the numbers were unfolding, and I was like, holy shit, wow. I 3 times my salary the first year out.
Wow.
Or 3 times the salary the first year
That's
out.
incredible.
When my husband and I were only saying we needed to survive. You know, like I mentioned, I'm very conservative. I'm conservative with my money. I'm conservative. Many lawyers are at risk averse, is what I think my accountant had told me. Oh, all you lawyers are so risk averse. Take the risk. And I'm like, pinching the pennies, pinching the pennies. But my goal was just to survive and get the bills paid year one. And so when I 2-3 times that year one, I really started to see like what could unfold here. And then your dream and your goal starts to multiply and you want to kind of catapult in that direction. And so, when I was I like to joke around and call myself, I was the smelly little associate in the small fish in the big pond. It was like, I think my goal was like a $5,000 raise. And when they got me for like the $3,000 or $2,500, it was like so
what are we doing
devastating.
Here?
It was so devastating at the time. And I was so upset. And, all the associates are, upset and talking about all the things. And the mindset about money now is just like the goals and the dreams. And people depending on who you're in a room with. And it's like when you surround yourself with other successful people, you will be successful. You surround yourself with a bunch of fat people, you're going to eat and become fat. If you surround yourself with, depressed and Debbie Downers, they're going to bring you down. And so the thought about money for me, being surrounded by, I only want to be around people that share this similar goals and dreams. Yeah. And I know not everybody has that, but for me, I find that the most captivating, encouraging. That's my mood changer. Yeah. I'm ready to kick off such a great weekend. And I'm like, because I've been surrounded all day with exciting people. And so my thought about money is I have that, I forget, the book is called Traction. If you haven't read it, definitely read it. But what they had mentioned in that book, it was like, I have goals that to one may be so extreme that it's almost comical.
Yeah.
Like comical to others.
Yeah.
Where in my mind, I'm like, no, this is doable. I could do this. I think I could do this.
But you might go to someone else
and they look at me
that's
like,
it? You can do so much more.
Yes.
And I think,
like
you said, being in the room with those people, you want people who are you want to mix.
Oh, I definitely want to mix.
You want to mix.
Yep.
But hearing that, it just unlocks something in your brain where you're like, oh, if you're doing that, or if you think I'm not dreaming big enough, let me reassess.
And people think like, oh, it can't be me. No, it can. No, it really can.
Yeah.
Because if I just rewind 5 years, this wasn't even a thought. And now I'm thinking like 2x, 3x, 5x.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
You surround yourself with those types of people, you will become incredibly motivated. Yeah. And I wasn't surrounded by those people when I was working in these big, corporate structure, white shoe type, AM. And that's another thing too. I look back and in law school, it was like everybody was I want to go to the big fancy law firm. We're all competing for this big fancy law firm. And it's like,
but why?
I was surrounded by like the most unencouraging it was very competitive there too. It wasn't, nobody was sharing ideas. Nobody was cracking the code as to how to even become a partner.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like some big
And
mystery.
when you remove, it was a big mystery.
And life is short. Life is so short. Why waste our time being miserable, sad, unhappy? Why? When we could be motivated and excited. Like, I'm so inspired right now, like just talking to you.
Yeah.
It just brings a different energy into your body, and it just makes you want to go out and build something,
take a risk,
do good, and help other people. Because once you see yourself winning, you're like, I want to help other people win.
Yeah.
I want to share what I know.
And I encourage you to be vulnerable too. Like I mentioned, lawyers are very, law students, lawyers. It's just something in our blood. I don't know what it is, but we all have the similar traits. You don't want to come off vulnerable or like you don't know. No, ask, find out. Yeah. Be vulnerable and say, hey, I have this, like, I'm feeling a certain type of way. Could you talk me through it? Walk me through it. When you ask, it's like I'll hand it over to you. Yeah. I don't have all the answers, but I put myself in the room with the right people. I ask the questions and I listen and I research, I explore, and I let them motivate me. And that's all you need to stay in the driver's seat.
Oh my gosh, this was so good. Yeah. This was so good. I know everyone's going to want to, if they already don't follow you, you, learn more about you. Where can everyone find you?
You can find me on social media at Attorney Netska. All things accidents, all things accidents, all things accidents.
And there's just such good content on there about PI, about accidents, advice, tips, lifestyle.
Yeah, we're going through a little rebranding. I'm going to be your Florida crash queen.
I saw that and I was like,
yes,
oh my
we're
God.
Going through a little bit of rebrand. I'm going to be your Florida crash queen.
I love it.
Yes, thank you so much.
I'm so inspired by you. I'm so honored to call you a friend. Thank you so much for coming on here and being real about your journey, because I think when people hear people going through journeys and then succeeding and continuing to succeed and continuing to grow, it's inspiring, and it just, I think, shifts that perspective a little bit. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Thanks for everyone tuning in, and stay tuned for more episodes of the Legal and Wealthy podcast. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Legal and Wealthy. If today's episode sparked something in you, take it one step further. Share it, leave a review, or come connect with me inside the Legal and Wealthy community. Remember, wealth isn't just about the numbers. It's about how you lead, how you live, and how you build beyond the billable. You already have what it takes to create real freedom and wealth. I'm just here to help you claim it.